All right, man. And if you didn't know by now, Billy Napier is officially fired as the Florida Gators head coach. His overall record was 22-23. He had a 12-16 record in the SEC. He did have some notable wins. He did win his last game, by a mere 2 points, I believe it was. Man, let's face it, man. Billy Napier came into Florida to be a great rivalry, a great coach to come in and recruit really well. And he had a combined in-state rival. Check this out, man. G-Make, you're going to appreciate this. And same thing with you, Mr. PC. He only won a combined 3-12 against in-state rivals, including losing to both of you guys. His home performances in his first 28 games, Napier suffered more losses than Urban Meyer had in 80 games, and Steve Spurrier had in a total of 150 games. It's been just a bad all-around area for Billy Napier. I was always a big Napier guy. I did like Billy Napier. I liked his style. I liked the lean on your coach. Mr. BC, I'm already upset about this one, man. What's your thoughts on this one, considering you guys just beat us as well?
It's a matter of time. It's pretty much the only thoughts I had. And aside from you, I got several friends who are Gator fans. They were pretty much pounding the table as well. They wanted to see Napier gone. They wanted to see him done. And, it wasn't really much of a mixed bag. It was pretty much like the sooner the better. And, we had this conversation last show about, do you want to stick to a coach for, the whole season, want to give him a chance? He's had his time. He's obviously, it seems like he's kind of lost, at least in my opinion, I think he's lost the locker room a little bit. It's one of those things where, you might as well just kind of cut your losses, let him go, and just build something new at Florida. Bring in somebody who you feel like can maybe help build a great culture there, and somebody that's going to build something that will be, get the Gators back, I guess, in the front seat, so to say.
You guys see that Johnny Manziel was saying that Urban Meyer should be back with the Gators?
Ooh. I had that thought that might be a rumor that would get started somewhere in there. I don't know. I don't see that one happening, especially the way he left. He had, apparent heart conditions, and all of a sudden Ohio State opens up and he's perfectly fine and ready to go win national championships. So I don't think that they would go back down that Urban Meyer route, to be honest with you.
Your thoughts, perhaps, on Tim Tebow if he decided to go and coach for the Gators? What do you think about that?
So Tebow would be more. I would like to have Tebow more as like the Andrew Luck role that's been going on at like Stanford and some of these other guys that are doing like the GM work that can help out with recruiting. I don't know Tim Tebow as far as his X's and O's when it comes to coaching. The last time we saw Tebow on the field or affiliated with football was with the Jags, and he didn't make the team with Urban Meyer. So I don't know what his actual coaching paralysis is, if you will. But I guess that we can go ahead and start the rumor mills if you want now. Most Gators fans are clamoring for Lane Kiffin. I don't know if Lane Kiffin's going to come to UF, just for the simple fact of he has a good thing going at Ole Miss right now. Ole Miss is recruiting really well. He has a good thing going. He's making a lot of money. They're playing pretty well. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. James Franklin is out there as well. I don't know if that would be a great hire for Florida. I think it's almost basically the same thing as Billy Napier. Just for the simple fact that you've got a good guy, a great guy that people seem to like, but can't seem to win big games. But Napier's whole thing was whenever he came there, he was supposed to be a great recruiter. And he came from smaller schools where he was dominant and had a hell of a record going into this before he got to Florida. Florida, just unfortunately, they could never get over the hump. And it really disappointing on my end of it, because if you guys remember how excited we were and how excited, or at least I was, going into the end of last season. I honestly thought they were going to be, national champion contenders coming into this season. Their schedule was prime for them to be able to do that, to be able to go against a bunch of good teams. And it just fell apart. They looked like they regressed, which is probably part of the reason why he ended up losing the position here. I got nothing but love, actually, for Billy Napier, though, be honest with you. I think he was a stand-up guy here his time at Florida. I think he handled the media well. He tried everything he could. It's tough to compete against the Georgias, the Alabamas, Ohio States of the world right now. And I think that once Florida kind of realizes that we kind of have to start from the ground back up and get like a grassroots campaign and restart this entire process, because it's not 2006 anymore. It's not the early 2000s. And we got to start living in the now and realize the fact that Florida is a destination if they're winning. Otherwise, they're not competing even with Florida State or Miami at this point. Hell, UCF might be even getting some of their better recruits at this point. So shout out to USF. I mean, they end up winning the game. So I don't know, man. I do like the Billy Napier time, and especially going into the end of last season, like I was saying before, I just wish that this would have just kept that momentum going. Lagway doesn't look the same as he did last year. I just can't figure out what actually went wrong, because they actually had a good recruiting class, and I think they went in number 13 in the country. They held their own with a few teams and then just got stomped. And then they end up beating Texas. So it's tough to say any given freaking football Sunday, or Saturday in this instance. But I don't know, man. I don't even know who I want to see in there. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying maybe Manny Diaz could possibly be out there. I don't really know. It's tough to say. I just think that Florida needs to find the right coach in the aspect of a good recruiting coach, because Napier was a good recruiter, but he's a good recruiter for the Sun Belt. You need big boy football. You need somebody else to come in and be able to handle SEC football.
I'm probably going to be wrong about this, but I'm just going to float it out there just for fun anyway. I already teased it a little bit, but at some point, maybe not the next coach, maybe not in 2-3 years, but maybe in 5-10 years, I honestly, just my thoughts about it, I could see Tebow going into it. Again, could be wrong. I feel like maybe the itch to maybe come back and fill that Andrew Luck role will start it, but I think maybe just over time he might like getting into it. And to me, just his mindset and who he is, he's never been really the X's and O's kind of guy. He strikes me as more of a Dan Campbell kind of coach, where he just inspires you, fires you up and gets you to want to run through a brick wall. But it's a fun little thing. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but yeah, I definitely agree. They need a culture change in Gainesville. Otherwise, it's going to be like the 70s and the 80s and, early 90s, or not the 70s and 80s, just kind of a lot of irrelevancy for the university.
It's tough for me to think that Tebow would give up TV money for coaching money, because a lot of headaches come with coaching. And it's like, if you hear coaches talk about how much time they put in, bro, there's some weeks that they only sleep 2-3 days. And does Tebow really want to give that up with everything that he's got going on? He got so many endorsement commercials and just talking on TV, College Game Day and stuff like that. I don't know if he would really want to give that up to go coach. Now, if he would, and he would want to put that on his legacy, I think it would be, a good challenge for him, after everything that he's been through with football. I think UF would embrace him 100%. I feel a lot of people would be behind him and actually give him the support and courage that he would need to lead a football team. But is it really worth it to give up TV money to go coach a university?
Be honest with you, I can see Tebow running for president before I write him. I can see him running for trying to be the head coach of the Gators. To be honest with you, man, I don't know. Do you guys have any kind of? I'll start with you, Mr. BC. Do you have any kind of inklings on who you think besides Tebow, maybe a coach that's out there right now that might be up for the Florida job?
I've heard
John Gruden.
Oh gosh, no. Gosh, no.
If he's going, he's still. I don't know if that lawsuit is done with or not. I know there was a lawsuit going on that he was suing the NFL because of all the emails that came out and all that stuff.
I think he won that. I think that's over with now.
Okay, so I think he won. Okay, so he won it, and but is he gonna be able to coach again in the NFL? And would he want to coach again in the NFL after everything that he's been through with all that stuff? So it's like maybe he still wants to coach. Still coach, and maybe UF would be a good place for him. I feel like he could be a great coach. Obviously he did work in Tampa, and maybe he could continue to do work. And he, Florida at heart, he's a Florida guy. So maybe.
No, I could definitely see Gruden possibly being there. And there was a big rumor too that he was in town actually about 2 weeks ago. In Gainesville, maybe scoping some stuff out. So I could honestly see Gruden being a great fit for Florida, because I think his style he's not going to overwear like the pro players and stuff like that fight and desire. You only have to do this for X amount of weeks in college. And got new guys come in, and they're always going to be impressed, if you will. Not with the pros where they kind of got, I don't know. I think that Gruden would be. I would be perfectly fine with Gruden coming in and maybe taking over that position.
Yeah, I mean, you put it like that. That does make a lot of sense. I'm strictly just thinking about it from the pro lens and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. You're cycling through college players every couple of years, especially with the transfer portal rules and stuff. Mm-hmm. I've heard Alex Golish from USF be floated around as somebody that might, potentially, if he decides he wants to kind of use USF as a springboard into a bigger program. And, he's already built, obviously, season's still like halfway to go, but he's already built a team that, and changed the culture in South Florida. So it wouldn't surprise me to hear Florida, hear Gainesville come knocking and try to pull him away from Tampa. But again, I don't know if it happens. I think it just depends though too on maybe like if the stadium deal and stuff, if he wants to be a part of that, if he wants to usher in that new era of Bulls football. But I think Alex Golish would be kind of a dark horse candidate for me that could potentially land the Gators job.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a TBD. As of right now, the wide receivers coach is going to be taking over for the remainder of the season, as what the writing on the wall is. That's who's been announced. They do have the bye week, and then they have the big game against Georgia coming up in about 2 weeks, November 1st. So we'll see if that momentum can carry over. Maybe new coach, new blood, new recruit, if you will, coming in there. So we'll see, man. But Billy Napier, man, I hope the best for him in his professional career. I think he will get another position somewhere. I just don't know if it's going to necessarily be in the head coaching ranks, maybe for a couple of years to come over there. But we'll see.